All right, so here we go. All right, welcome once again, everyone. We are starting straight up, and right now we have about 50 people joined us already. And let me reiterate that if you're on the call, please ensure your mic is muted, except when you want to ask question. When you are called to ask question, and if you have question along the line, you can put it in the chat box, or you can just raise your hand and I will call on you to ask your question as we go on. Okay, so let's get started. Today's event is just about the Commonwealth Scholarship, and in past couple of years after I got the scholarship, I've been using platforms like LinkedIn, WhatsApp group, and all that, Twitter recently, to share information and insight about the scholarship. And because I benefited from it, and since then, it has been, a starting point for me to explore other opportunity globally. So my name is Sunday Okafor, and I was a Commonwealth Scholar 2018. I graduated 2019 at Nottingham Trent University, where I did my master's in civil engineering, and I'm currently a PhD student at the University of Alabama here in the USA. And my prayer to have with me here, Dhoni, Mercy, Augustine, Victor, and where's my, and Basi. Okay, so you guys are welcome, and they are going to share the experience, as I said, and we are going to explore every aspect of the scholarship. Now, first, as I said, we're going to start with the scholarship application process. How is this scholarship all about? Basically, the Commonwealth Share Scholarship is offered by the UK government. It's sponsored by the UK government in partnership with a couple of universities in the UK. So basically, everything about the scholarship has to do with United Kingdom. It has no affiliation with your country, home country, in terms of nomination, right? So if you are applying for the scholarship, basically you are applying to schools listed under the scholarship body. They have eligible schools every year, and you can only apply to those schools and the listed programs. I believe by now you have already started doing that. If you haven't, you can still start, but deadline is almost here, maybe in 2-3 weeks time from now, less than 3 weeks actually. Today is 4th, so 16 days more or thereabouts to go. So at this point, I believe you should be at the stage of writing your essays. Some of you should have started getting offers from schools, because UK school don't take time in giving offers. You can get your offer within 2 weeks or thereabout. So when you are applying for the scholarship, you're basically going to apply for the school of your choice based on the program of your interest. And you can apply to multiple schools as you want. You can apply to more than 1 or 2, 3, 4 schools. And you have, no limit to the number of schools you can apply to. I remember when we were applying back then, some guys, we applied together. I know guys that applied to 20 schools, 20 programs, and some of them didn't even get an offer. It was interesting then. So, but the thing there is that there's no limit to number of schools you can apply to, but the good thing is not about quantity, it's more of quality. All right. So if it is only 4 schools you can apply to, you can have time to write good essays about, it's preferable than just applying to any school that you feel like, oh, you can apply to, and at the end of the day, you are not submitting a solid application, because that's what matters. I believe my scholars here can bear me witness to that. So after applying to those schools to get an offer, then you can start applying for the scholarship. You can do the two simultaneously, but basically it's expected that you get an offer before you submit your scholarship application. You have an offer from those schools before you submit your application. But you can do the two simultaneously. While you are waiting for an offer, you are applying for the scholarship process. So I've explained that in the video I did last time that I asked you guys to watch before this call, so we don't have to spend time on that. So my experience applying for the scholarship, which I have also shared in some videos I did a few months ago, is that I applied to 4 schools. I applied to university. I applied to Nottingham Trent University. I applied to Cranfield University. I applied to Liverpool Moore University, and I applied. What's the 4th school now? That's Newcastle University, right? And I got rejected by the 4 schools, interestingly. So I already feel like, oh, it's over. This scholarship is not meant for me this time. I have moved on. Unfortunately, it happened that one of the schools, which is Nottingham Trent University, have not finished their nomination process before the deadline. There's a set deadline for nomination. So once that deadline approaches and all the schools have not nominated, you get an automated rejection email from Commonwealth scholarship body. So I got 4 automated emails that, oh, we are sorry, all those sweet love letter they usually send out. So I got those emails. I already said, okay, let's move on to the next stage. And fortunately, after a couple of days, I was on some WhatsApp groups. So I have to leave because the noise was disturbing me. I feel like, what am I doing here? Let me just leave these guys and go and find something to do. And a couple of days, like 2 days after, one of my friends was telling me, oh, it seems like some schools have not nominated. There's an error somewhere. I said, okay, it's fine. I don't even think about it. So 2 days after, I got an email from Nottingham Trent University that, oh, congratulations, you've been nominated for this scholarship. If you got an initial email stating otherwise, please ignore this. I was confused. Which one should I ignore? Ignore this, ignore the former one. I don't understand the English. I have to ask my friend, what is the meaning of this email? They're like, oh, you won this scholarship, this, congrats. I said, really? Okay. So that's my journey basically, and that's how it started. And went to UK, did the masters, came back to Nigeria. I started applying for my PhD while I was doing my masters, and I have to come back in Nigeria during the pandemic 2020. So I stayed in Nigeria for 1 year before coming to the US for my PhD program. So that's my short story. I don't want to take much time. I want to give enough time to my scholars to share their experience, just as short as possible, so we can go into the process itself. So we'll take questions. I know you guys have questions, but we'll take that one after the other. Okay, we'll take it. We have time for that. So I would like to start with Dhoni. Dhoni, can you share your experience with us? Thank you.
Hi everyone. I hope you can all hear me. Okay, so to be very brief, early this year I joined Twitter, and then I started following people that kind of teach how to get scholarships. And well, I would say luckily for me, I was able to follow people like Aaron and Sunday. And I joined the webinar early this year, and that was all I used basically for my application. The information I got, I didn't have enough time to give people my essays to review or anything. So I just applied. I applied to 4 different schools. I applied to Cranfield, which I am right now. I applied to Strathclyde University, West of Scotland, and University of Bath. So, well, along the line, it was, I totally took my mind off it because I felt like I did not want to get disappointed, and I didn't want to just be depressed over it or anything. And then later on, I got a regret mail from West of Scotland and also University of Bath. Anyway, then I got a mail that I was put on the reserve list for Cranfield University and Strathclyde. So that kind of gave me a little bit of hope. But then I just decided to, take my mind off it again. And I started reading a lot of things about what a reserve list means and if it's possible for me to still get a nomination and all of that. And then I was told that it's like 1 in 1,000 chance for you to actually get elevated taken up to the nomination list. So that was very saddening for me. Anyway, so I just to cut the whole long story short, Strathclyde sent me a mail that I wasn't taken up to the nomination list, that they are sorry, the whole regret mail. Like Sunday said, the love letter. Okay, so Cranfield was like the last option for me. It was the last opportunity for me, and I totally did not even expect Cranfield to give me any audience, because I kept sending them mails. They were just mute all through my application. They did not send me any. Okay, all they sent me was acceptance letter that they've given me the admission and all. But concerning the Commonwealth scholarship, they mentioned nothing. So I just totally lost hope on that. But then I think it was in July, I got a mail from them that I've been elevated from the reserve list to the nomination list, and then I should accept the offer if I am interested in it. And that was just it for me. I was so excited, and well, I'm here in Cranfield.
Thank you very much, Dhoni, for sharing your experience. I remember how excited I was the day you sent me the message that you've gotten a scholarship. I was so excited, because I understand you were on the call Aaron and I had last time, and
Yeah.
fortunately, let me say that Aaron couldn't be able to join this call because he wanted to be here, but due to some engagement and all that, he couldn't join today. So that's a wonderful experience. Okay, thank you very much for sharing that. Augustine, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Okay, yes, I would like you to share your experience with us. Thank you.
All right. Hi everyone. Well, the Commonwealth scholarship, or let me say the Commonwealth shared scholarship, is an experience that will definitely at least give you a focus of what you want to do in your career. Because by the time you start drafting all those essays, you actually have to think it thoroughly. And my own application process, it was quite different from that of a lot of people. I didn't just start off writing essays. Like, I took some time. I attended like 5 webinars, and one of them was the same one you were talking about, where you and Aaron were part of. So I also networked with some Commonwealth scholars. A couple of them I had met when I started applying for the Chevening scholarship around November. So when it got to the Commonwealth, it was like, this is the last scholarship for like this season. I'd applied to the Chevening. By that time, I think I've already gotten rejection. I'd applied to the Orange Knowledge Program. Erasmus Mundus, I was on reserve list. And I had one other scholarship like that, the Mastermind Scholarship at the University of Antwerp in Belgium. And that scholarship passed me by because I submitted a wrong official document after the whole selection process. But I was just lucky I had gotten the Commonwealth scholarship. If not, I would have entered a very crazy depression period. But this
Sorry, Augustine, can you unmute yourself back? Okay, go on. Can hear you now.
All right. So when the university contacted me, we had an interview. I don't know if there were a lot of candidates or to those who like probably watching those hospitals. So we had to be interviewed. So when I got
I think your audio is breaking. Is it from my side? Your audio is kind of breaking. We can't hear you very clearly. Okay,
I don't know. Is it just you or is every other person?
Go on now. Go on now. Go on now. All right, go on.
All right. So we're selected for the interview process, and then after the interview process, we were told some references. We're not told that we're nominated or whether we're based on the result list. So we just had to submit our references. So we got the nomination.
Augustine?
And the other schools.
I'll have to come back to you. The audio is breaking, so I don't want us to miss what you have to say. Probably I'll come back to you for you to round it up. A lot of people can't hear you, okay? So let's come back to you on that. Victor, if you are here, please, in few minutes, at least at most 5 minutes, can you share your experience with us so we can dive into other stuff? Thank you. Victor? Okay, if Victor is not on now, I will call on Mercy. Mercy, please go on. Can you share your experience with us? Unmute yourself and go on.
Hi, everyone. I hope everybody can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you very clear.
Okay, thank you. So my experience, though, while I was preparing for the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship, although I never had in mind that I was going to apply to Commonwealth Shared, I was pursuing US and all. So I happened to apply to Commonwealth Shared Scholarship, and I just applied to 3 schools. My criteria for selection was that, okay, the course I was interested in doing, I was interested in biotech or molecular biology. So I happened to apply to University of the West of Scotland, University of Bath, and University of Chester. So I applied to those 3 schools, got admission, but it was only University of the West of Scotland that nominated me for the scholarship. Yeah, it was funny though, because during the application process, although I did not attend any webinar for Commonwealth Shared Scholarship, I actually used my knowledge from other webinars that I've attended on scholarship applications and all to write my essays. Watched Victor's video on YouTube too, which helped me during my essay writing. So I spent so much time writing my essays. Like, I was so intentional about winning the scholarship. So I spent so much time writing the essays. I'll go back. There was no time to give it out to review. So like, I had to use some other tools like Grammarly and all to make sure that the essay was, intact, was very strong, and I had to put in some strong points. So like, when I was applying, I was not trying to be humble. I was not trying to, so like, I sold out myself and, put it out there that I'm getting this thing once, because it was actually my first time of applying. So I was so intentional about getting the scholarship. So I spent so much time writing the essays and reviewing, going back to check, going back to review. And the funniest part of it was that when I was writing the essays, as I was going back, like, I was seeing some things I need to change. I was seeing some errors. So I was just going on, repeat checking and checking till I knew it was at least perfect enough for the scholarship application. So I submitted my application to the schools first. Then while I was waiting for the admission, for the nomination and all, I started my application for Commonwealth Scholarship. So, and eventually I think some months later, University of the West of a contact person from University of West of Scotland got back to me that, oh, okay, you've been nominated for. They're also happy because I was actually interested in biotech, molecular, and all like that. So I was happy I got it, and that was just a briefing of the whole experience. Thank you. I can't hear you. You're muted.
Thank you very much, Mercy, for sharing that awesome experience. You were so intentional about it. What I used to tell people is that, a lot of people out there, they always look like, oh, if I didn't get a scholar to review my essay, I won't be able to stand the chance. Come on. You see, when I applied, I had no scholar to review my essays, right? I was doing my National Youth Service back then in University of Ilorin. I wrote my essays. People that review it, I give it to my colleagues, my friends who were around to proofread. I didn't have maybe Grammarly then. I didn't use Grammarly as Mercy did, but I gave it out to my guys. I know they are good with English. They can see errors, like grammatical errors. Give it out to friends. They don't have to be in your field. They can be in totally different field. I gave it to someone we are serving together. It was a law graduate. I gave it to someone else, computer science graduates. I gave it to my friend. So it just like gave it out to people to just read, because for you reading it, you might not spot some errors. You might see your grammatical construction to be right, but if someone else read it, they are likely to see, oh, I think this thing should be written this way. And by then, using that, you can improve on your writing. So you looking for scholars to review essays for you is good if you can find one, but that is not a must that a scholar have to review your essays before you stand the chance. Understand what you are required to put into the essays. Think about it, follow all the guidelines that are provided, and sit down and put the work that is required, and you're gonna get that solid out. Okay, thank you, Mercy, for that wonderful experience. We have Aaron. Aaron joined us. Fortunately, he have some time to spare, so he's here. He's here with us, and I'm going to give him time, a few minutes to talk to us, to share his experience. He's an old Commonwealth scholar, so they should induct him into the Commonwealth Hall of Fame very soon. So, Aaron, I know you're a busy guy. You have some things to do, so I would like you to to come and share your experience, and probably say one or two things, so that if you have to go, that is fine. You understand. So, Aaron, please, can you come on? Aaron, Alariwo of Scholarship Land. You are not here. Okay, let me call on Victor. Victor, can you share your experience with us very quickly in a few minutes? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sunday. I don't know if people can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you very clearly.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm actually a Commonwealth alumni. I wouldn't say I'm a scholar. I think I'm an alumni now. I got my scholarship in 2020, just before the current scholars. Our set was before the current people that are here now. So I don't know, part of my experience is that will be most important for people to hear. I think, let me just talk about my application years. I applied for Commonwealth scholarship twice. I did it for the first year. I got it in 2020, but I tried in 2019 and I couldn't get it. My experience that year, sometimes when you do scholarship applications on your own, if you don't come to things like this, maybe you come to where other people that are trying the same thing like yourself, you might not know some secrets, or maybe some little things might make you to fail. So initially, my first application, I just applied to one scholarship, like under Commonwealth Shared. I just did one application. I thought that was the best, making multiple application is going to disqualify you or something. I didn't know that. So when I heard that some people applied I had a friend that applied to 20 on that Commonwealth shed. I said, like, seriously, is this possible? So I decided that the next year, any course, I'm going to go through all the nominated courses. Anyone that is available, I'm going to apply. As long as I have my laptop, I have my internet, I'm going to apply to as much as possible. And I did it the following year, and I got lucky. A school nominated me. So that was one of the things I feel some people might not really know from the onset. You might think applying to one means you are loyal to the school, or I don't know, there could be several interpretations to that. So it's good you apply to as much as you can. To the best of my knowledge, the rules have not changed. Then again, in the course of getting after writing your essays, I think just as Sunday said, you mustn't get a Commonwealth scholar to review your essay. Anybody can review your essay. Even your family member, your sister, if you know that the person is good with writing, the person can review your essay. Yeah, it could be anybody, your friend, your classmates, anybody at all. In fact, even someone that you're even better with in English, you can give the person your essay to read through, because when you write something, for you to detect an error in it is difficult. So you need someone else to look at it and see what you are not seeing, probably because you are reading what's in your mind, not what's on the paper. So you can get someone to review your essay. Again, you can write, and when you don't get people to review your essay, still write. It doesn't mean you shouldn't write. And again, you mustn't know the person that is reviewing your essay. The people that read my essay, I don't know them. I met them on LinkedIn. Just go through LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a very powerful tool. If you open LinkedIn, you can search Commonwealth Scholar, just search it in. So many people that are scholars will put it in their profile. So with that, you see a lot of people. You can chat them, message them, get their review essays. So you mustn't necessarily know the people directly. So that's another thing I did. The people that reviewed my essay are guys that I don't know. And again, okay, if you are doing this, you have to be careful, because some people, you have to really check the person's profile. Maybe if you are sending your essay to someone, you go through people's profile, you can see whether the person is actually a scholar. And it's not just anybody. You just see, maybe even if he's not Commonwealth scholar, he could be a scholar in another scholarship, or maybe a student in one university, maybe in the US, UK, someone you looks legit to you, so that you don't send your essays to people that are going to take your essays and submit it elsewhere. So that's just to add to that. Then again, I think, okay, let me just stop there for now. When I think about other things, or maybe let me allow other scholars to mention some things they experience in their own time.
Thank you very much, Victor, for that, for sharing that experience. It's very important. It's very important that you also, when you are sending out your essays online, someone you don't know, should also be careful who you send your essays to, so they don't sell your essay to people, and and you find out that 10 people wrote the same essay for Commonwealth, and when they are reviewing it, they feel, oh, these guys are not serious, and because of someone else negligence or something, you lose your chance of getting the scholarship. So don't just send essay to everybody. You understand? Be careful how you send your documents out to people to review. All right. Okay, thank you. We have Aaron now in the room. Aaron is here with us, and I'd like to give him the time to to share his experience. He's the most senior scholar in the room here, so his experience matters. There's the old wine if you know that adage. So Aaron, it's a pleasure to have you join us. Thank you very much. I'd like to hear from you. The floor is yours now.
Hi guys, can everyone hear me?
Very clear.
Okay, thanks Sunday for giving the privilege to be here. Hi guys, to everyone who joined, and to other scholars who are here, and to everyone who is working towards the application. I don't know where I should start from, but I'll just freestyle and hoping that somehow it works. I applied for my scholarship in 2016, and I was fortunate to be awarded the scholarship that year. And mine was tenable in Leeds Beckett University, and I studied Masters in Public Health Promotion. I guess at the time when I was applying, for me, I had just a friend who was kind of helping me towards the process, and it was just a case of that friend applying together with me. For me at the time, I applied just to 4 schools, partly because I had the struggle of taking IELTS, because the amount was a bit expensive at the time. And I applied to 4 schools that were happy with me just providing my WIEC. Some of them just had a phone call with me just to confirm I could, speak and understand English over the phone, and they were happy to give me an unconditional offer. And it's Beckett at the end, at the very end. Somehow it was just kind of a twist of fate that I was going to get there when their agent in Nigeria called me to say, have a conditional offer. Have you taken your IELTS? And at the time I was preparing to take IELTS, so I just kind of speed up the process. I got my IELTS and I sent it over to the school through the agent. Fortunately for me, that was the only school that gave me the scholarship. I guess probably most of the scholars would have said this, or it's something that people who are on the call would have known already, that the best tip in applying for the shared scholarship, or the privilege it gives you, is that you have the opportunity to apply to 1,001 schools. So you can apply to 10, 15, 20 schools as much as possible. And I tell people, for instance, I'm a public health practitioner, and I'd always wanted to do public health. So you might want to apply for public health, for instance, but probably your other schools are offering global health or international health rather than public health. So that is also something to look at. Or you want to do, for instance, MS in finance, and there are just little variations to some of these things that's offered in the school. Sometimes when you go and look through the modules offered by these different schools, they are probably the same thing. It's just the title of the course. It's sort of different. So that's another thing to look out for in terms of tips if you want to apply, because some people say, oh, I want to apply to public health. And I've looked at the universities that are the participating universities for this year, and probably only 2 or 3 universities are offering public health. Fortunately for the public health people, we have a lot of schools offering public health. I mean, public health is just everywhere. So, but also look out for those variations. It's very important because it gives you more chances. And if you have the opportunity to take IELTS, please, it's very important you do, because again, it improves your chances. I understand things are very difficult, and IELTS is way above the roof now, and it's really difficult for some people. So also explore the chances of securing waivers, because a lot of UK universities in the COVID time did waivers and all of that. So that also happened. So I guess at the time for me, I wasn't so informed in exploring a lot of this opportunity. It was just in hindsight now, looking back, and I'm like, how on earth did I just apply to 4 schools? I could have applied to 10, 15. If Leeds Beckett didn't give me that scholarship in 2016, I'll still be somewhere in Nasarawa State now. Maybe I wouldn't have gotten the scholarship, But I was fortunate to have got the award in 2016. So, but 4 schools was really, really small. In hindsight, I should have applied to more, because I was losing nothing from applying to more. So if you're on this call, or if you're going to watch this later, please apply to a lot of schools. And sometimes it's the same essay you use or the same essays, or just with little tweaks. One school will say, oh no, we can't give you. And the same essay, another school say, oh yeah, this is the perfect essay, this is the perfect candidate. So please apply to as much schools as you can. As in hindsight, this was what I would have done better. I'm sorry if I shot over the board Sunday, because I just joined and I wasn't sure what structure was happening. But
yeah.
this is it from me. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much, Aaron, for that experience you shared there. I think it's very important that you apply to as many schools as you can, as long as you can. One thing about Commonwealth Scholarship, again, is the system has been modified in such a way that it's looking more like the Chevening Scholarship, in the sense that you don't have to have your first degree in that program for you to apply for it. Okay, like there are some programs, when I look at the list of programs they have now, that basically your undergrad don't have to be related to that. If you are able to defend that, oh, you can be a change agent in this area, you can contribute to development in this area. Probably after you have left school, you've been working in something related to that. You can definitely go ahead and apply for it, because there's no way it is written that you have to have a degree in this field. They just say that you have to have a first degree. And once you can get an offer from that university, that's just what is required. So for Commonwealth Share Scholarship, yours is just to write an essay that can convince them that you should be awarded this scholarship, right? So getting an offer from the school, that means the school certified that, oh, you are eligible to study this program. So then writing the essay is now what you need to do to get the scholarship. So Aaron, thank you for that experience shared there. I would like to call on Bercy. Bercy, are you there? Can you share your experience before we move on? After Bercy, we will take question and answer. And while we'll be taking question and answer, I'll put up an email address. If you have your essay completed, I wanted to do this while we're on the call, so we have to receive tons of essays, which we are not going to review. So if you have your essays completed, get it ready. At least two. I might not get to it, but the first maybe 2 or 3 I receive, I'll open it up here for all the scholars to make contribution to it, right? And based on that, other people can take corrections and make improvements where necessary on their own essays. Okay. Over to you, Bercy. You have the floor. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Yeah, good afternoon. You can hear me, right?
Yes.
Oh, great. So my experience started, I think, late 2020 when I applied for Chevening Scholarship, and I wasn't able to scale through after the interview stage. I was able to make it to the interview stage. So as Aaron gave an insight, I was able to use those essays for my Commonwealth scholarship application. So while it was looking like I wasn't going to get it for Chevening, I was able to get it for Commonwealth. So I was able to tweak some little things, because the Commonwealth essays are like 11 in total. So that was like a huge strain, seeing the deadline, because I never thought I would apply for that. I was just focused on Chevening. So my senior colleague who studied in the UK under the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship was like, oh, Achibong, why are you not applying for the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship? What if you don't get Chevening? So that's when it dawned on me. And I was like 2 weeks to my Chevening interview. So I started drafting the essays, then I sent it to him to review. And I saw that, yeah, I was able to use those essays. So I sent some things at some point to Aaron because it was seeming too much for me. So like he could maybe structure it more. So that really helped me to, like, put it there, put it forward, and submit it. And yeah, here I am in the UK for my master's in public health at the third best school for public health in the UK. So another thing I know that people are scared of is like applying to many schools, because there's this school of thought that is like quality. There's this school of thought that is like quantity and quality can go hand in hand. So whatever flows for you, you do that. But the best option is keep your options open. So if I had known, like, what if Warwick didn't give me the nomination? Because at first I didn't even want to apply for more than one, because I only had admission in Glasgow University of Glasgow. So I was just like applying for Commonwealth shared scholarship for Glasgow. I didn't apply like for any other school. So the guy was like, this is Commonwealth shared. Apply for many. And I was saying, oh, the deadline is so fast and everything. And so he just said, okay, at least apply for two more, even if so to give you an option. So it was my third school, which is the University of Warwick, that actually nominated me for the scholarship. And it was very funny because I didn't write IELTS. As Aaron said, the amount the amount of IELTS like was too expensive for me, and I was like, no way am I writing this thing, because like who is going to give me that kind of money to write an exam that maybe a particular point listening or writing can either make or mar my applications. So I just hoped for the best, and I looked for schools that waived that used like WAEC and stuff. So, but for Warwick, like, although they understood that I was able to speak and write, they actually wanted to verify. So if I wasn't writing the IELTS, so they made like an interview for me. So I was able to speak on that interview and like submit one of my writings to them via email and a reference from my employer at the time that I was able to write and communicate well in a working place with English. So those are some key things you should also look at when you are applying. Look at the school, read the website very well into to don't just I'm applying for the scholarship. So I only just look at the name of the scholarship and that's name of the school, the program, and that's it. So you look in between lines so you'll be able to see things that you might have missed. Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you, Basi, for your experience from Calabar to the world. So that's a wonderful experience you shared there. Okay, right now we'll be moving on to question and answers. I know there's guys that have a lot of questions. I believe that's the best way we can provide insights by taking questions. Okay, so but before that, I'll put up an email address on the box. If you have your essays completed, I said completed, okay? Everyone, okay, so let me pull up the email address, okafor.sc@gmail.com. So here is the oh, sorry, that email address is not correct. Let me retype it. At SC25. This email address, I don't use it often, so. So I'll put up the email address there. If you get that, just send. If you have your essays completed, don't put your name on the essay. Don't put your name on the essay. Just send it as a workshop template or workshop sample, something like that. Just put it up. I'm not interested in knowing who have that essay. So once I get the first few ones, if it's completed, then we can go through it as we go on. All right. So we'll be taking question and answer. If you have your question, you can raise up your hand. If you put it in the comment box, probably we'll get there. But I'll prefer if you can ask your question instead of typing it. Okay, so we can interact better and make it as straight to the point as possible, so we can have a smooth understanding of what you're asking. Okay. I will start with Daniel. Daniel, please go on with your question.
Okay. Please, can you hear me?
Yes.
Said I'm audible enough. Okay, good afternoon. Thank you for this privilege. So actually, you guys have been mentioning different fields, and for me, I'm an agricultural sciences student. So if I would further my master's in that field, I just want to ask: are there no provisions for agricultural students in this Commonwealth shared scholarship?
Okay, Daniel, thank you for your question. I believe you have gone through the eligible programs or courses for this year, and you should have seen the courses there, right? And there should be some courses you're interested in. If there is none, then that's what is available for this year, right? So, but the thing that, as I said earlier on, is that you don't have to look for exactly what you studied in your undergrad. You will definitely find something that relates to that. Okay, so that's one thing about Commonwealth scholarship. You don't have to be exactly what you studied in your undergrad. Maybe you did animal science in your undergrad, or you did crop protection, and then you are looking for exactly animal science masters. You might not find it, but you might find something that relates to maybe conservation of natural resources, or maybe national wildlife conservation, or animal health, or something close, and you feel like you are interested in doing that, then you can go for it. Okay, so that's what I'll basically say about that. I believe you've seen what you are looking for. As I said, this call is basically mostly for people who have applied to the school of their interest, and they are the process of writing their essays, applying for the scholarship itself, and all that. So if you have any further question on that, then you can ask after the call, maybe ask on my LinkedIn page or something like that. But go through the program.
Hi, Sunday.
And check if you have okay. Bessie, do you have something?
Hi, Sunday. As you said, I think you need to check the website, because if you've checked the website, you'd see some agricultural courses there. As you said, this webinar is for people who have already started the application. So if you started your application, you'd have seen your program already there. Checking the website now, I'm seeing some agroforestry, environment and stuff. So those agricultural related programs that you could have applied for if you've gone to the website. There's wild animal health, biology, and stuff like that. So I think you need to go to the website and actually check, then be sure, then confirm those programs are the programs you're interested in. Thank you.
Sorry, can I get the website link? I'm very sorry. Actually, I'm just getting to know about this word.
Hello, sir. I have a question. Can I go on?
Hello, good afternoon.
Mr. Sunday, please unmute yourself.
If your question is related to the application process, you've started your application, that's people that want to take their question. If you have not, you are yet to start your application, you don't have any idea about what to do, you've not even checked the website, please go and do that first, okay? Now, I will call on Ifeoluwa. Ifeoluwa, can you unmute yourself? Ifeoluwa Rachel, put yourself on that.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, can you speak up?
Good afternoon.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, my question is, when I checked the website, I saw that I was able to apply to 4 schools for the scholarship. So my question is, you said we have to apply to the school before applying for the scholarship. Am I to apply to the 4 schools before applying for the scholarship, or what am I supposed to do? I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yes, I got your question. I will call on Dhoni. Dhoni, can you please answer that? Thank you.
Okay. Hi, Ifeoluwa. So you can do it anyhow you want to do it. Actually, you can apply simultaneously as you're writing your essay, and maybe after completing your essay, you could then go for your the school application. For me, for example, I had a very limited time, so I made sure I completed the Commonwealth scholarship first, an application first, before going for the school application, because I felt like the Commonwealth required more time. to complete because of the 11 essays before going for the school application. So however it works for you, however you want to do it. But you should know now, you should know by now that for every school application you submit, you are supposed to submit one Commonwealth scholarship application, meaning that if you're going to apply to 4 different schools, you're going to submit 4 different Commonwealth scholarship against those schools. I don't know if that is clear.
Yeah, I guess. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome.
Can I add to that? Am I audible now?
Yes, go on, Augustine. Go on. You can make your point.
Well, admission in the UK is not so much of an issue. I can tell you that the major thing that will take your time is this Commonwealth essay. I applied to 10 schools and I did all these applications in one night. I started around maybe 10 p.m. and I applied to all schools in one night. So that depends on how intentional you are about it.
Thank you. Augustine?
Yeah.
Your point is quite clear, I understand. But your audio is still breaking, so I don't want us to.
I actually suggest, I suggest hello, can you hear me?
Messi, go on. Can hear you.
I suggest you should not use the headset. I don't know. Yeah, I think it should be better if he's not using the headset.
Okay. Try that, Augustine, and see if we can get to hear you better later on. So applying to UK school, as you said, is not difficult. Getting an offer from there is not difficult, but you can apply to as many schools as you want. But the thing there is that if you apply to 10 schools, just know that you're also going to apply to 10. You're going to make 10 different applications on the Commonwealth website. All right. So I've made a video on that, on how you can do that. So you can check those 2 videos I did on that. So quickly, let's take the questions. I will call on Michael. Michael, can you ask your question? Unmute yourself and ask your question.
All right. Good afternoon, all. Okay, my question, I have about 2 or 3 questions, but I'm just going to go straight to the points. Number 1, I wanted to find out if there are some UK schools that, give preference to individuals from a particular country. Like, for instance, I discovered that Bangor University, they specified, if you go to their page, you will see that they specify that they are interested in people from Kenya and I think one other country like that. Now, in that kind of situation, should someone still go ahead and apply? Or should you just, if you are not, since I'm not from Kenya, should I still go on and apply to the school or just forget about it? Now, the second question is, I want to know if there's a special preference, a kind of giving to first class students. For instance, they say 2-1 first class, whether they are going to give preference to first class students over the 2-1 students. Now, I applied to the third one, rather. I applied to some schools, though some have given me conditional admission. But I discovered that while I applied to Newcastle University, I got a conditional offer. But then during the application, they asked if my first language is English. I responded yes. So, and that was like, and I think I uploaded my WAEC results along the line. But they still requested for IELTS and I think one other is a program with the school before I go on. So what do you think I should do in this kind of situation? Thank you.
I got your first question related to country of interest. Commonwealth usually make it clear that, there are some countries that are less represented when it comes to Commonwealth country. Maybe those countries don't usually have a lot of applicants, and they can prioritize or give preference when it comes to people that apply from such countries. I think some maybe Guyana, there are some countries like that, actually, I can't remember that. But in terms of the school as you are talking about, I don't think there is any restriction for you to apply into the scholarship. The school will give, what they are after is to give you an offer. But when it comes to nomination, they have to follow the Commonwealth guidelines. So once your country is eligible to apply for the scholarship and you apply to the school and get an offer, go ahead and apply for your scholarship. That's whether they say they are interested in countries, Kenya or something, they might have interest in those countries. Doesn't mean that if you're not from that country, you won't stand a chance. So that's my answer for that first question. And when you ask about preference to first class students or 2-1 or something, I believe the Commonwealth scholarship have made it clear that the minimum requirement is 2-1. And if you have a 2-2 with a master's, you can also apply. So once you meet those minimum requirements, it is not stated anywhere that preference is given to people with first class or 2-1. There's no way it is stated. There is a selection criteria which is available on open source on the website. You see the criteria of which they use to make their selections. So based on those criteria, that's what they will use to consider every application. There's percentage attached with your grade, your essay, every other thing. So once you meet all those criteria, you stand a chance. People that have 2-1 has won the scholarship. People that has 2-2 in the past has won the scholarship. So everyone has a chance. So irrespective of your
okay, please, can I check in there?
Yes, go on.
Okay, so this was also like a challenge for me. I had this question because one of the schools I applied to, Strathclyde, they stated it that they would give preferential treatment to those people that have first class. So I applied to it, but then I was not nominated. So I feel like it's not really about if you have a first class or a 2-1, as long as you meet the minimum requirements that Commonwealth has already given. So just put in your best in your application and that's it.
Exactly, that's your point. So your third question about the school, meeting the school requirement. The thing I always tell people is that understand the school requirement before you start and making any application to them. If you are not clear about it, send an email to the right address to clarify. So if they require you to submit any maybe English test or some certification before you can be given an offer, and you feel like you can't meet those requirements, then don't apply. When I applied to school, I only applied to school that accepted WAEC as medium of proficiency in English, credit in WAEC. I didn't bother to go to school that have IELTS because I don't plan to write it. So just go with schools that meet the requirement that you can afford to provide. And basically that's what I'll add. Aaron, do you have anything to say that?
Yes, actually, thank you, Sunday. That's a good point. But what I will also add there is, at the moment, the school have told you clearly they want IELTS. But we have learned with the COVID times that there are a lot of concessions that are happening with institutions for various reasons. What you can do at this point is email the school and let them know that, although you have submitted your WAEC, you were taught in English. English is, your first language, your language of instruction in school. You are able to provide additional documentations. For instance, a letter from your institution saying you were taught in English, right? Make that case and tell them, you can also make that financial case of, that's why you're applying for a scholarship. You're not able to take IELTS for maybe this reason, that reason, or some other reasons that you might have. And let them know that you're able to provide these other things, and then ask if they are able to get that concession to provide these alternatives. Although you're aware that these are some of the things they want, are you able to provide these alternatives as proof of English language? Some schools are very, very firm with their rules, but I mean, you never know. I applied to University of Manchester in 2016 when I was applying, and they have all those rules about IELTS, but when I applied, they just said, okay, we're going to schedule a phone call with you. And just to confirm you can speak and understand English. I did that call, and within 10 to 15 minutes after the call, I got my own conditional offer. So there are informations that are silent that you might not find on the website. Sometimes when you send emails, you get some more clarity. So I would advise that you explore that route and see what they say. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Aaron, for that insight. If you have asked your question, you can lower down your hand so I know the number of people left to ask question. And I would like, if you are raising your hand, make sure your name is showing, not the name of your phone, so I can easily identify you. I will ask Yusuf. Yusuf, can you unmute yourself and ask your question? Okay, I'll come back to you, Yusuf, if you're not clear. I will call on Safia. Safia, can you ask your question?
Sophia.
Okay, thank you.
Safia, right? Safia?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, go on, you can say.
Yeah, my question is, I tried applying to a school, but they're asking for application fee. Like, do they close application fee for some to apply to the school directly?
Okay, is that your question?
Yeah, that's my question.
Okay, I know there are some schools that ask for application fee, right? It's not much, but a couple of schools in the UK ask for that. So if they're asking for application fee, yes, that is, you have to pay for it. If you think you don't want to pay for it, then go for other schools that don't have that. The schools I apply to, or you can also maybe send them an email, explain your condition that you can afford to pay for that. And most times they waive it, all right? So it's not cast in stone, but if you feel like you can't pay for it, send an email, and if they don't want to waive it for you, then maybe you look for another school that doesn't require that. All right. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does.
All right.
Thank you.
Welcome. Arabushe, Sandra, can you go on and ask your question? Arabushe, Sandra?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here. Good afternoon, everybody. Please, my question, please don't get offended because you already stated it that it's only for those that are already in the process. I am not in the process, but I just want to ask a few questions. Sorry, I'm so sorry, but please just
go on with your question. Make it brief.
I don't know about this thing. Okay, all right, thank you. So my question is, please, for those of us that, for me, that doesn't know anything about what's going on, how do I start? Because I'm very much interested. How do I start? Is there like like a link, to maybe a video or something, just anything, or a webinar for those that have not started?
Okay. Thank you for your question. There are two videos I will send on the comment box. I made a video of the application process from start, the video will guide you on what to do. I will send that on the comment box. And there's another video on how to start writing your essay.
Thank you.
So I will send that on the comment box. So,
all right.
Okay.
My second question is, please, is it for only masters or undergraduates as well?
Just masters.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Prince Onyekere. Go on with your question, please.
Good afternoon. Okay, the first one is a contribution to the person that asks about application fee. Before some of the schools, you have to visit the website in the school that talk about the scholarship, Commonwealth shared. Some of them will tell you you don't have to submit application for admission, but just do your application, save it, then apply for the scholarship. If they nominate you, they're going to give you a code to submit your application, so you don't have to pay application fee in case the school asks for a fifth application. Some other schools will, when you write to them that applying, they give you a concession to apply without paying a fee with a code to submit your application. Some other schools too, they don't give a concession. You all have to pay the fee. That is on that part. Then second, my question goes to the people that are doing MPH, and that should be Mr. Philip, Aaron, and Mr. Archibald Basin. Now I'm applying for public health. Now, and some schools will say public health, some schools will say global health. Some schools will say public health with global health, like that kind of nomenclature. So I want to know, I'm planning to use the same impact essay because they're all based on public health or global health for other application, but then with some differences. Basically, when they ask you for your proposed study in UK, because you have to talk about the school specifically. So is it advisable that I use the same impact essay for whether it is global health or public health? Then the last question is not basically for application, just to get a clarification for people who have already graduated. Mr. Sunday, I want to know, based on the terms and conditions of coming back to the country, how strict is it? Is it basically not going back to the UK, but you can go to other countries? Or I want to get a picture of what the terms look like based on this aspect. Thank you.
Okay, Ron, Bessie, any of you can take the first questions.
Basi, do you want to go first, or do you want me to?
I've left the Alariwo to talk first, please.
Okay. Regarding your question, this is the way I would do it, because I applied to various schools and some of them didn't have just public health. You can use the same essay, yeah, but have tweaks at certain areas. Take for instance, I think Basi shared as well. Most of the essays I used for my Commonwealth scholarship were essays that kind of modified after applying for cheating, and I didn't even get to the point of interviews, right? So you can use the same essays and just tweak the arguments you are making. Take for instance, if you're making an argument, for instance, in your essay that has to do with COVID-19, for instance, COVID-19 is a public health issue. It's also a problem of international health, right? And so those kind of arguments you can make at certain areas. So it's not all about copying and pasting verbatim. It's also what we are also able to do is to go look at the modules offered by these institutions and see the differences or the similarities in the modules. Then you are able to, that informs you on how you are able to tweak, what sections you are able to tweak in these essays. But the majority of the essays, to be honest, in my opinion, you can use most part of the essays with just slight tweaks at certain areas to suit the context or the modules that you're looking at. So I did that for most of the schools I applied as well. So that might be a safe strategy to employ. I hope that helps in a way.
Okay, sorry, can you elaborate? Because I have been having this kind of confusion about global health, public health, international health, like population health. These are just different terms that get me confused. Yes. And I have been looking for explanation. I have browsed, but the Google stuff don't give me what I want somebody that has experience to maybe, if you can connect after this call, that would be fine. But if you want to, maybe for people that want to also benefit from my question, you can give us maybe a brief distinction between these different concepts.
I think, going into those very specific definitions, like for instance, some of them we might connect after this, and feel free to just check me on LinkedIn or other social media, and I'm happy to provide more clarity on those specifics, But most of most of those things are simply nomenclature. What distinguishes those courses in some areas is the modules that are offered, right? So sometimes even the modules, public, it's just the same thing with different faces and with different focus. So it depends on what the department is trying to focus on and the direction that they are trying to, a particular part of health that they are trying to focus on, But the distinction is majorly on the modules, for instance, that are being offered that will be able to tell you. So I did public health promotion, health promotion, and most of my modules were tilting towards the social model of health, for instance. But I had colleagues who did public health in other institutions, and their public health was more epidemiological and more clinical aspect of public health, right? But they were all public health. But what differentiated us was the modules that were being divided. My own public health was someone in the School of Community Studies, and I had a lot of things, a lot of affiliation with social sciences and all of that, which has informed even my doctoral research and all of that. So the modules provide that direction. But please feel free just not to take the time of others, but feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and other platforms, and I'm happy to chat about this further. But I hope it helps delivery.
All right, so thank you.
Yeah, I think someone wanted to add something.
No, I wanted to give a comment about that from my personal experience. Okay, so I studied biotechnology for my undergraduate, and I wanted to apply for that for my for the Commonwealth scholarship. But then when I went to the website of each of those schools departments websites, I realized that every biotechnology was focused on areas that I was not interested in, because biotechnology is a very wide course, and I was specifically interested in the environmental biotechnology aspects. One of the schools offered medical biotechnology, another one offered plant biotechnology, so it was totally off. So I had to go and pick something entirely different that would address the part that I was really interested in. That was why I went for a course, environmental engineering. So I totally ignored the schools offering biotechnology and went for environmental engineering, which was focused on the area that I'm really interested in for research. So I don't know if that will help you as well.
Yeah. And Sunday, that's so sorry, just to add, I'm so sorry if I'm talking too much. But another thing is, take for instance, you're applying to, you've seen global health, you've seen international health, you've seen public health. When you are tweaking your essays, please look at the modules. I'll give you an example. If you are applying to my school, for instance, which is health promotion, and your essays is more tilting towards more epidemiological and the clinical aspect of public health, the people there will not be entirely interested in it, because the focus of public health in my institution at the time was looking at the social model of health. So it was more into the social sciences and all of those areas. So yes, it is public health, but if your essays are not speaking to what the modules are saying, you are likely to, your essays will be beautiful, but you're likely not to be, to make a strong case. So that's why it's very important to look at the modules. Do not assume because it's global health and then you just go and be singing the talk about HIV/AIDS and COVID-19. They might not be entirely interested in it, or they might be interested in it, but the aspects that you are trying to focus on, maybe you're talking about the lab and testing and all of that, and they're looking at the more, the social impact of COVID-19, for instance, and all of that thing. So please look at the modules when you are tweaking your essays, and be sure to understand what modules are offered in those institutions. So just the argument you can make in your essays. It's very, very important, very, very important. Please don't just write. Look at the modules. That's the first place to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, everyone, for your contribution to that question. I believe you are clear on that now. So let me take a few more questions before we go into the exit part of this meeting. I can see Peace, you are raising up your hand. Mama Efwa, you are raising up your hand. Okay, please go on with your question.
Hi, hello, good afternoon. Please, thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, so my question, one of them has already been answered, so it's out. So unfortunately, what happened to me was I wanted to go through to see how the essays are, let me see the questions that have been put across. And so you see, they have made some asterisks on some, meaning they are mandatory. So if you don't respond, you can't go to the next. And so I just scribbled something there so it can lead me to the next. But unfortunately, when I got to the last one, I didn't read beneath it to know when I click the next, that is it. And so I have submitted an application already that I haven't finished. I was very scared, but then when I went through the mail they sent me, I don't know if I really understand what they said, but is it possible for me to submit another application, like for me to continue since the deadline isn't up yet?
If I get your question right, you mistakenly submitted application when you have not completed it.
Yes.
Well, from my, own perspective, I don't know if other scholars might have a different opinion. I think you can submit another application, probably with another email. I don't know, but if it's the same email address to the same school, I don't know how possible that is. But if you need to create another account entirely, probably that can work.
Okay.
But Adedonyi, do you have something to say?
Okay,
Go on.
so from you can actually submit another application. I mean, if you want to make any kind of correction, you start all over again and input all your essays and submit it to override the first one that you submitted. So the first one you submitted will be ignored, and the one that will be considered will be your last application, or the most recent application that you submit. So you can submit, for me, I submitted more than 5 times for some of the applications I made, and they will consider the last one that you submitted as the valid one. So of course you can submit another application.
Oh, that's
all right.
That's
very much.
That's great. Okay.
Yeah, I have a contribution to make to that, Sunday.
Okay, Victor.
Yeah, she is talking about she has applied to a school and a course, and she wants to redo that. Am I right? I think that's what she's asking. Yeah, in my opinion, I think Commonwealth allows you to share, it allows you to apply to so many courses, but it doesn't mean that they want you to apply to one course in one school for several times. They mean you can apply to, maybe come to this school, apply to this course, go to another school, or maybe come to the same school, apply to 2 courses. I think that works fine. But when you've applied for a course and you want to do that same course in that same school again, I think it's more prudent to just create another account. Gmails are very simple to set up, so that, because some schools might get pissed off, maybe it's an individual seeing multiple applications coming from the same person, from the same account for one course. The person might be pissed off. You get, maybe some schools might allow you to slide, but maybe someone there, you see that the candidate is unserious. How can you apply to the same course, the same university for 5 times? That is my own, contribution.
Can I add to that?
Yes, go on.
I hope I'm audible now.
Yes. No, you're still not audible. I'm sorry. You're still breaking a bit. I don't know what's going on, Austin. Maybe.
All right.
Are you sure you are in the UK, Augustine?
I don't know whether this is UK or BUK now.
Okay, don't worry.
It's
Maybe
village people. It's village people.
It's village people.
We know how it works.
Okay. Dhoni, I would like Dhoni to Dhoni have experience of making multiple applications to the same course.
I would like to address that properly to clarify.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So I think the question she was asking is application on the CSC portal itself. That is the Commonwealth scholarship application, not the school application. So for the Commonwealth application, from my own experience, I submitted the first. My first application was for University of Bath. So I submitted an application after I completed all of the essays. I then realized that I had to make some correction in some of my essays. So I went back to the portal, logged in with my credentials, and then I was able to start another application. So the way it is that if you should start another application under the same, because when you're starting your application, you're going to have where you input the school name and all of those details. So automatically, if you're using the same school name and all those the same credential, the same course, that application you submit would override the first one that you submit. So they are not going to consider the first one that you submitted. So it's not going to look like you submitting multiple applications for the same course or for the same school and all of that. So that's what I'm trying to say. I don't
Okay,
know if that makes sense.
that makes it clear. I think Augustine has also reiterate on that, like once you reapply it, annuls the first one. So that is straightforward there. I'll take two more questions before we move on to the essay part. Please be raising up your hand.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask your question now.
Yeah, okay. First of all, I want to say thank you for this opportunity. I'm looking forward to study sustainable cities and communities. And I've started the whole process, and I want to know how important is this volunteer jobs, work experience, and publications and articles when applying? I want to know how important they are. Thank you.
All right. This let me test Augustine mic now whether it's working. Augustine,
why would I do me like this now?
Oh, good. Last, finally. Okay, can you answer that question now?
Please. Okay, you were talking about work experience and how they contribute, right? Well,
work experience, volunteer jobs, and publications.
Yeah, I think there's even a section where you have to put in all these details, so they are very, very important. And somebody asked, like, do these people give preference to people who are first class over people who have 2-1? I would tell you of the fact that if you have the same publication, the same work experience, and a similar volunteering experience with somebody of a higher academic performance in undergraduate studies, they will take him over you. That's just the truth. So that's why all these things, they contribute a lot to volunteering. And if you have publications, that's an advantage. It doesn't have to be in a very reputable journal. When you talk about volunteering experience, it doesn't have to be that you have to volunteer with an NGO. Volunteering even right from like your undergrad, like you volunteered maybe with one master's student who was carrying out his research. All those things, they contribute as volunteering experience. Even your NYSC is still part of volunteering experience. So as you're a Nigerian, you already have a volunteering experience. So you just find a way to tweak it to fit your development impact statement. So your volunteering should relate to the programs you are applying to.
Okay.
To add to that briefly, when it comes to volunteering, some people see this as a very big word, but volunteering can be as simple as whatever you can think of. Probably in your local community, you gather some children together, you are teaching them the importance of going to school, educating them, or it can be something you think is very simple. Maybe they are not going to consider it, but those are what they are looking for. Local impacts, no matter how small it is. Maybe there is a World Health Day, you just sensitize people, you bring your friends together, you guys went out to share tracts, to talk to people about health, and anything as simple as that. It can be one day event, that counts also. So don't take out anything, no matter how small it is. I remember while applying back then, every little thing I did while I was in school, during my NYSC, everything I did, I have to, highlight it there. It depends on how you package it at the end of the day. So that matters. So publication, I had no publication when I applied, nothing. I didn't feel anything in that session. So if you have, fine. If you don't have, that shouldn't stop you from applying. Right. So.
Yeah, Sunday, I want to add to the volunteering part just quickly.
Go on, make it brief, Victor.
Yeah, I just want to give an example of the kind of things I did, because you mustn't go for the big things, maybe go to the NGOs. The thing I was doing when I was, I was serving, I found out there is a school close by. I studied engineering, so I'm very good with mathematics. I went to the school, told them I'll be doing extramural classes for them for free. I was teaching them Saturdays. I'll come around, teach everybody for mathematics. I'll just ask them the problems they are facing, and I'll teach them, and I'll go. That's my own volunteering, and I included it in my essay. So it helps. Just as Austin said, the whole things are point-based. So if you don't have first class, you can get your points with the volunteering. They check it holistically. So when you have something exactly with someone else and the grade is just the difference, obviously they will take the grade because that's why it's there. So try to make other parts of your essay outstanding, even if you don't have the first class or, that's just my point. Thank you.
Sunday, please, can I just quickly state an example? So
yes,
maybe
go
this
on,
can
please.
Okay, so for my own essay, I stated something about tutoring. When I was in school, I helped a couple of students to that they were quite low academically. Their CGPA was prodding, so I tutored them, and there was some sort of improvement, and I included that in my essay. So I think it's also important that when you're stating all these simple points, you should try to back it up with maybe some sort of results that you got out of it. So, well, I tutored a third class student, and at the end of the semester, the person moved from a third class to maybe a 2-2 or something like that. I think that can also be very helpful. So it doesn't have to be with big things like NGOs. I mean, I've never done all of those things before. Thank you.
Sorry, I think I want to add something to
Yes, Messi, go on.
Yeah, thank you. So when you are writing a part of this essay, like I usually tell people to use the STAR approach. What's the situation like? The action, then your results. Tell them about the result. Most important, like don't just mention, you have to mention the results. So just put it like that chronologically, and write your essay, do volunteer. It's not necessarily you have to go to an NGO before you can make an impact. You can start with maybe your siblings or fellow friends, colleagues around. What have you done? What have you really done to impact their life? Something like that. So that's just my little contribution.
I think.
Thank you.
All right.
But I want to know, how do you document this volunteer jobs, or do you just write them there and they just believe it? Because some people can lie. How do you document it to be real?
It's left for you not to lie, because they're not going to ask you for evidence, but just put in what you do, because indirectly or directly they might have ways of knowing whether you're lying or not, even if they didn't ask you for the proof, document about it. But make sure you are putting the right information, because if they find out that you are lying at the end of the day, even if you have already won the scholarship, you're going to lose it. So, yeah, Aaron, go on if you have something.
Yeah. Talking about documentation, that's a good point, and that goes back to the power of social media. I'm a big fan of documenting on social media, and although you will not be asked, sometimes we do not know who is looking at our applications when we apply. I know I used to work in organizations where even when you apply for a job, they go back to check your social media and all of that, right? So no matter how short it is, if you are fine, some people are not happy to do this. But if you can document, it could be a blog, write a short paragraph with one picture. It could be on your Facebook, it could be on your Twitter, it could be on your Instagram, it could be on your LinkedIn. Just document, write something. You never know what's happening. And, it just helps with that culture. Tomorrow, you might want to do something and you will need those links. I still apply for certain things today. And all I need to do is to just go to my website and pick a particular link of a claim I've made and just put it there, right? So it's important that although you will not be asked, if you can, document on your social media or on a blog or something. For me particularly, that's one of the reasons I started a personal website, but these are things you don't even need a website for. You can do it on your social media platforms, LinkedIn and all other places. So if you can, please document in that way. A short paragraph with a picture sells the story. You might need the link tomorrow. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Exactly, that's very important. I will take one more question before we go into the SP part. I would like to call on Sylvester. Sylvester, can you ask your question?
Hello,
Sylvester.
guys.
Okay, go on.
Am I audible enough?
Yes, go on.
Yeah, this is Sylvester Mudoka from Kenya. I'm applying for Masters in Construction Management, Construction Project Management at the University of West of England. So far, I've written my essay, but my question is, I applied twice the course at the institution, because when I went back to the website to check the progress of my application, I found that it's not there. So I applied for the second time. And again, also my passport has delayed. So I was asking if that can affect my notice. So, and I applied on early November 22nd there. So my question is if me applying for the same course in the institution has affected my application or the outcome of the application, so that I get the number so that I apply on the Commonwealth website.
I think your question is not clear. I don't know if any of the scholars get the question. You can go on and answer. But for me,
I'll repeat.
I didn't get your question. You applied to a school?
Yes, I applied at the University of West of England, Bristol.
Yes.
So I applied twice.
For the same program?
Yeah, for the same program.
Have you gotten an offer?
Not yet. I think in the next 2-3 days.
So wait for an offer. Have you started your application to the scholarship?
Yes, I have. I've also written the essay I wanted to share with you so that you can.
Okay, I think your question is quite clear. So just wait for an offer, start your application. Once you have an offer, you can go on and submit your application when you are done. Okay, so that is it on the question part. We might come back to that later on, but I want us to go through the essay now. All right, so I have 2 essays I've taken down here we're going to look into because of time. And if the scholars are benevolent enough to help participants review the essay later on, you can reach out to them on their platforms, on LinkedIn especially, to request for that. If they have time, they can help you go through your essay. But we'll be providing general insights for everyone here through these essays that we're going to look at together. So the first essay I have here is, let me open that up. I'm going to share the screen. Okay. A minute. Okay. So what will happen is we look at the essays together. The scholars will also have, they can read through it. If you have any part where you feel like, oh, you want to make a contribution to that part, just call my attention to it, and we can discuss it and move on. Okay, so that's how it's going to go. This essay is from one of you. I don't know the person. As I said, I don't want to know the person that have it, but basically the development in part essay, that's the first one. If you can you all see this? Can you see my screen?
No, it's blurred, kind of.
Yeah, I can see it.
I can see it, yeah.
Okay, if you are using a computer, you should be able to see it very clearly, I think. All right, so here is the essay. We'll be reading through it, I'll be scrolling up as I'm reading through. I expect the scholars also to be reading through it. And if I see any point where we need to make any contribution, or you see a point that we need to make contribution, just call my attention to it so we can discuss it along the line. How your proposed study relates to developments at global, national, local level. Okay. According to the UN,
Am I able to jump in? Sorry.
Yes, go on.
Okay, can you just scroll down a bit, Sunday? Just slightly. I want to go back to the question.
Okay.
Yeah, just slightly. I want to refer to the question.
This one here?
No, to the question, just the top. Yeah, so I think this essay, to start with, looks good. I like the use of data and the references there. I mean, that's a very good way to get the attention of people. It shows you've done your research. It shows you've done your homework by putting just data from, I've seen data from the UNDP, seen data from the World Bank as well. But for me, I might be wrong, but or it might not be clear. It might be inferred, but I'm not entirely. So the question is two-pronged. Development issues at global, national, and local level. Yeah, and I've seen that data describing that. But the second bit of the question regarding your chosen CSE theme and to the wider sector, I have not seen that clearly here. And it might be that the person has inferred it, but the CSE themes are clear on the website.
Yes.
And being a reader or being an assessor, I would want to see that clearly. It is not my job to assume what you are writing as, in your essays. You need to state it clearly for me, to know that, okay, these are the problems by the UNDP, by the World Bank. This is the data that shows this problem. This problem is large scale from, as we can see with this data at national, we can even see this problem is there in Ghana. You've mentioned your cost there. But then this problem, this is why I've chosen this or blah, blah, blah. And this relates to my CSE theme of this and this because of this, this and that. It needs to be, I would suggest that it needs to come out clearly in that essay. And I skimmed through very quickly and I haven't seen that. And I've reviewed a few essays in the past, just recently. And this was one of the problems I also highlighted. And it is easy for this to happen. It's nowhere the person's fault because we're quick to, get slumped into the data and to explaining so much about our course, and we're so passionate about the course, and we skip that. I've reviewed about 2 to 3 essays that this happened, and that's why it was easy for me to pick this. So it's very important to integrate very clearly. Do not allow the reader to assume what your CSE themes is. State it clearly. These are my CSE themes. This is how these problems connect to my CSE theme very, very clearly. Thank you.
All right, that's a very good contribution there. Okay, let's move on. How you intend to apply your new skills and qualification when you return home?
Before we move on, that same first question, this is the first question the reviewer would read when he's reading this essay. And from the very first line, I could see a grammatical error. To try and avoid that, your first impression, I say a lot about, according to the United Nations Development Plan, straight up, there's no comma before about, it's just plan about. It seems like there's a grammatical error in this first sentence. So it shouldn't be that the first thing they will just see in your essay is an error. I think you can use Grammarly and proofread.
Exactly. As much as possible, if you can, use Grammarly to proofread your essays, because sometimes there are some construction you feel like is correct, but it might not be. So it's advisable that you use proofreading softwares. There are more there apart from Grammarly. Anyone that you can access, use it to proofread it. So errors can can mess up what you've written. So it's very good to avoid that. Okay. Any other contribution on this part, or we move on? Okay. How do you intend to apply the new skill and qualification when you return home? Okay.
Yeah.
To be a soils or concrete engineer. Will you say geotechnical? Because I know there's nothing like soils. Maybe the person is talking about geotechnical engineering or something. But soils.
Big deal.
Is that?
A mistake. Soils. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe geotechnical. No, in civil engineering, we don't have soil engineer. We have geotechnical engineer, basically. So yeah. So that is an what you should correct there after school within 8 months or to 2 years. I want to impact a team of efficient quality engineers to develop proposal. I want to impact. I don't know if this here using this is correct, probably. But what I'm looking for is not grammatical. I'm not more of grammatical. I'm looking for more of content, like, but make sure your grammars are right when you review, before you submit. I want to establish a framework with the government of Ghana on what constitutes a durable concrete for affordable housing construction. So
Sunday,
I will.
Yeah.
Can I
go on?
Is that me or someone else?
Go on, Aaron.
Okay. Again, if you go back to that question, is how you intend to apply your new skills and qualification when you return home. Please remember that whoever is reading this essay might not be a professional in your field. The person would have had zero clue about what you're talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
I could see that the person wants to study something in engineering. It is your duty if you're writing this essay. The question again is, it's a single question, but it is somewhat two-pronged, yeah? How you intend to apply your new skills. This person needs to be guided on what these new skills might be. And again, it shows that you have done some form of research. Go back to the modules. This is the course you want to study. What are the potential skills you are able to pick up when you finish your MSc? Let the reader know that after your course, these are the potential skills you're able to pick up, so that when you are telling the person that you are going to develop a framework with the government of Ghana, the person knows that you have mentioned that you would have, the skills from your course, or skills A or skills B, will be able to help you to develop a framework. You're just going straight to say, oh, you want to develop a framework, you want to do this, really ambitious, really good. And some of them are really targeted and specific. But please guide the reader, take the reader by the hand, tell the reader, these are the potential skills I'm likely to develop, or these are the skills envisaged skills I'm likely to develop. And because of these skills, because of skills A, B, C, D, I am able to do this, and tie those specific skills to specific return goals or those things. So skills A should somehow be tied to you developing a framework. Skill B should be tied or to you collaborating with the government of Ghana or surveyors and all of that. That helps a more coherent flow for the reader, and as for you as well, it make it that strong argument. Thank you.
That's very important there. So there's another part of the essay, if I believe, that asks you to how the program relates to how the course relates to the, I don't remember how they construct that, but basically they're trying to ask you to explain the content of the program you're going to study. So you having an understanding of the content will also guide you in writing about it. So if you are talking about establishing a framework, you know what a framework is, the process it takes to establish something as critical as a framework. So you need to understand what it takes to establish a framework. And if the skill you are going to pick up from this program is going to help you to do that. So make sure you're not just writing ambiguous goals. It can be a simple goal, but something that is achievable within a time frame. All right. So Aaron has well explained that very well. So let's I will also collaborate with Ghana Institution of Survey to develop housing design as preliminary work for a potential. These are very ambitious goals, but ensure it's something you can be able to do. I don't know, maybe already in the industry, you have experience doing this thing, you are working in a company that champions this course already. So, but if you are just maybe a fresh graduate, you don't have much work experience, then you need to fine tune your goals, your what you want to achieve in a way that aligns with your skills that you're going to acquire at the end of the day. So
yeah. So Sunday, sorry again, regarding that particular point which you just made about if you're already in the field, right? It's important that if you're already in the field, it's very good that you're going to leverage on some of these things, right? But from the way this person has written it, I'm not able to tell if you're already in the field or not. Do not allow the reader to assume. Always take the reader by the hand. Let the reader know very clearly if you're already in the field or not, right? So that the reader is able to know, okay, this person has experience already. So, okay, this might not be entirely ambitious because this person has been doing this, might be doing that already. So that might help. Do not let the reader assume. Just always spell out your sentences clearly. Thanks.
Exactly. So you are not going to expect them to go to your CV to look at it to see if you have experience already. As much as possible, every part of your essay, give them the necessary information that help them to make a decision at a point, because they have a lot to review. So don't give them the stress of trying to find other information, by themselves. Okay. The part 3 of the essay, what you expect will change in development terms following your studies, including the outcome that you aim to achieve, the time frame for the implementation, who will be beneficiary. This is a very important part of it. Okay, let's see what this is. Okay. Okay, my contribution to here is the way this person sounds, it looks like he has a lot of experience in the construction industry. That is an assumption from my own side. But these are ambitious goals, especially when you say between 3 to 9 months, they are very, very ambitious. But make sure that you provide, as we have already said in the previous one, information that shows that these things can be achieved. Maybe based on your experience, okay, I've been working with the Ghana Authority, Construction Authority. I'll leverage on my experience. I'll leverage on my contact. I'll leverage on my, So those are the things that you need to show, okay? These are good points, but when it is too ambiguous or ambitious, let me use that word, and you are not able to put it in a way that will show them that, oh, this thing is what you can actually achieve within this time frame. All right. So put in something that is easy for you to achieve, because they know what you can achieve. All right. So they don't expect you to influence policies in your country at this stage. You can still do that in maybe in the next 5, 10, 20 years, long-term goals. But at this moment, what are the methods you can use to solve this problem, especially the slum? What are the short-term solutions? You can also state the long-term solutions, but if you are talking about 3 to 9 months, eradicating, slums in this community might not be that feasible, but there might be a short-term solution. So yeah, go on.
Can you just scroll? It looks like there's still a bit more information.
Yeah, there's still a bit here. Yeah.
And it seems like the timeline has to all align. Like in the second essay, you talked about getting a job within 8 to 12 months, and then you're talking about forming a team with 3 to 9 months. So what if you don't have the job first? So if the job doesn't come till like maybe 8 months, is it within 1 month that you now form the team? Let the timeline like show a growth pattern. It's like somebody working on HIV. You expect that when you come back, the major thing you would focus on at your own level would be like awareness. You wouldn't focus so much on changing policies at that level, just like somebody said. So what can you do within this period that is feasible at that level? I mean, forming a team when you are not sure you've gotten a job, I think that should come later, not like as soon as you get back.
Sorry, I can't really hear Augustine. I don't know if it's just me, but I can't hear him. His voice is
Augustine,
breaking up.
your mic, I don't know the people that are following you this afternoon. But,
Sunday, just scroll down, please. Let me just read finishing.
Okay. Yes, go on.
Yeah, I think, what I was actually trying to say is what the point Augustine is trying to raise.
Okay.
So I think the person should just concerning the time. The person,
go on, Messi.
Yeah, I think the person should just give time frames for each of, like, okay, let's say you're talking about you trying to go into drug production or something. Or you can just talk about the short-term goals, the medium-term goals, then the long-term goals, then give a particular time to achieving those things. And it should not be scattered. Let's say, for example, maybe for the short term, we are trying to say in 4 months time or in 5 months time, I will do this. I think the goals should be realistic, and the goals should be, for example, let's say for the long-term goals, you cannot start talking about something that you will achieve in some years time. So for the short-term goals should be something that is achievable within that short period of time. So I think the person should just outline some of these things, especially the time frames, talk about the short term, what he or she will achieve during that term, then talk about the medium term, then talk about maybe career goals for the long term. So I think that will also help in this particular question, which Augustine is trying to actually raise. The point Augustine is trying to raise, I think, is something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Sunday, can I jump in?
Yeah, go on.
Okay. The two people have talked about, all those very practical questions, and I wouldn't want to. They've nailed it there. So just go back, and I'll just to the very beginning. I'll just talk about some sentencing and grammatical points.
Okay.
Just from the top, just the first sentence.
I'm trying to get back to let me see. I think there's something wrong. Let me share the screen.
Yeah.
Right?
I can't see it anyway. You're saying you've started sharing, but it hasn't come up. Okay, yeah. Yes, it's showing now. So just to the beginning of the essay.
This
okay, yes.
Right? Yeah.
So yes. So the person started, the major development issue facing my home country, Ghana, for which I embark on this academic journey and motivated to help eradicate is the uprising offspring of slums in Ghana, urban settlements. If you listen to me read it, it's very wordy. I'm getting tired. That is too wordy. You don't have the words. They're asking you 250 words. You can do a lot of magic with that. That is why it's very important, like some people said, please use Grammarly or other softwares. I mean, we're not native speakers. We know sabi this English. You just have to use the help of others. That sentence is too wordy. You could have said that in, short, precise word. That part of for which I embark on this academic journey, they already know. That's why you're applying for this master's. That's why you're writing this essay. They know you're already applying. So you don't need to remind them that, right? So try to make your sentences very short and precise. There's a place the person just towards the end, the person used mobilize and uses Z. I know it does not matter, they tell you to use it, but you're applying to a UK scholarship. Please use British English, yeah? Mobilize it or subsidize, you can use an S instead of a Z, and try to go through all your essays and ensure that your English, your spellings are in British English. This might not matter anyways, and my points might be very subjective in the way I respond, but it's just these technical things. You don't know who is writing these essays and some of these differences. You're applying to a UK institution, you're applying to a UK scholarship. Everything you write should be British English. It will really go a long way to assist your reader just comprehend, because some spellings the reader will now be saying, is this even a correct spelling? Because the reader is a native British English speaker and doesn't even know maybe the spellings that are being in the US. So that would also help.
All right. So who is that? Someone is interfering. Please ensure you are muted, everyone. Okay. Quickly, let's look at another essay. Let's look at the remaining part of this development in part essay. Then we'll look at another essay. So the part 4 says how the impact of your work could be measured. All right, this is a very critical part that a lot of people always ask questions on. So let's read this, and scholars from your experience when you wrote yours make contribution generally on this, okay? Provide insights. The mode of tracking the impact of our housing projects to the
Okay. Can I say something?
Go on, please.
Yeah, when I was actually writing my essay on this part, I was specific. I was going straight to the point. So, like, how will your work be measured, be best measured? So I was telling them the results that I will actually get. Like, for example, I told them the number of publications I was going to get within the social period, the number of workshops I would have organized, the number of maybe grants that I would have attracted, something like that. So that was the way I was just going straight to the point, because I have 100 words here. So there was not too much words like that. So I had to tell them the results I'll be getting. So something like that. And whatever results you'll be getting is based on maybe the skills and whatever you've learned, which you would have, the results would actually be as a result of what you have done, the impacts you have made. So I think the person should just see it that way. So what impacts, what result will you get from, okay, you trying to make an impact? So I think the person should just put it that way. So I think that should be the response to this question, and the person should just go straight to the point.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Miss.
And just another point.
Yes,
yes,
go on.
just another point. And this is not on this point entirely, because the person who just spoke, I mean, you've nailed it there. I want to commend whoever wrote these essays for one reason, that all the essays are telling a coherent story. So these are different essays for those who are listening and those who are preparing to write or have written. They are all different questions and different essays, and they're asking you different things. But please remember that all of your essays should tell one story. And this person have tried very well to do this by talking about housing slums and housing issues with citizens and all that. All of these essays are telling this story. Please do not write your essays with the first one speaking all the English around HIV, then coming to talk about COVID, going back to talk about malaria and all of this. Try to keep a coherent story. Let all of your essays, the 4, 5, whatever number of essays, should point the reader into telling one story, paint one picture, but then in those different forms of those different essays. Thank you.
All right. So that's it on development in part essay. This part is proposed study in the UK. Provide a short outline of your proposed study in the UK. I remember when we applied then, there wasn't anything like proposed study. Aaron, did you write anything on proposed study in the UK? I know there wasn't this part then. I think it was 2 years ago they introduced this part. So my recent scholars can shed more light on this part. So
I think I saw this when I applied for my PhD, although I wasn't smart enough to get that.
Okay, Adedoni, Darcy, Mercy, you guys, Augustine, how do you go about this part? Just read it and make a general contribution so we don't have to revisit it.
So just trying to make a general assessment for a general contribution to this proposed study outline. So basically, the study outline is just what are you going to do with your master's degree when you are there? What modules are you expected to, partake in? What are you going to do as your project? Like a proposed maybe topic or something to spur the person who is reading, and how it affects how you are going to use that, like a single line at the end, just concluding by saying that you are going to use maybe that proposed dissertation or proposed project to solve your developmental goals. So basically, that's an outline I followed for this question.
All right. Any other?
Just to add, yeah, I think it's about the same thing, because when I applied for the SHEP scholarship, I didn't have this question in 2016, but I applied for the PhD scholarship, and the essays are the questions are kind of a bit similar. And we also had this, and for me at that PhD level, it was just me proposing or shortening my proposed PhD research. So it's the same thing. And the challenge many people will have is that people will say, oh, I don't know, I've been at master's level. Some people, especially people who are not like working in the field or don't have experience from maybe professional backgrounds or all of that. People will say, oh, I don't have experience of what I want to propose. Like, I don't even know what I want to do for my thesis. At this point, they do not expect you to know exactly what you want to do, but just give an idea, drawing from some of the arguments you've made. Like, this person has made arguments in terms of housing and slums and all of that. So you can just, you might dig up a bit of literature and do a little reading just to, okay, is this really a problem? And just try to, you can even coin a topic. It's also very helpful to clearly state a topic that, okay, my proposed topic for my research will be this. Put it in, inverted commas. It also shows that, okay, this person has thought very well about what they want to do. It is not compulsory, obviously, to go on and do it, but at this point, they just want to see that, you are thinking critically, or you've thought critically about what you want to do. So that might also help. So think of a topic, even if you don't have one, in line with the arguments you've made in your essays.
Yeah, that's it. Basically, this person has done a good job in terms of, being consistent and having an understanding of what he or she wants to do. And here, with what you have written here, if there is a way you can, probably shorten it so you can have more words to use in other part. Your area of research, you've already stated it, which have to do with more of sustainable construction method. Basically, if I have to summarize this in few words, so basically that is it. And make it as simple as possible. We don't have to be something very ambiguous. So make it simple and straight. Okay. This is on engineering. So let me open another essay. Coincidentally, I didn't even know this essay is on engineering. So, but I have an essay here which is on public health. We've talked about development impact essay. So let me share this essay on, I think it's on health or something.
Sorry, while you are sharing it, can I ask a question, please, about this proposed study plan?
Okay.
Yes, please. I'm sorry I'm interrupting you. I just didn't want to forget it. So I heard Aaron say something about it. I also heard the other person. So they were talking basically about you proposing a study topic and then describing it and how it relates to what you're applying to. Am I right? I'm asking because I've also listened to alternative opinions where they were saying you have to practically draft as if you're writing a proper research proposal. You're going to write a topic, you're going to describe the method for carrying them out, you're going to describe your expected results, and then your conclusion should be how it helps what you're writing. So I want to see, are they the same thing? And if are we doing one or both, which of them best works, please? I don't know if you understand the question I just asked.
Yes. If I'm
can I take that?
Yeah, go on, Augustine.
Am I audible?
Go on, we can hear you now.
Well, if you already know everything if you already know everything you want to do and you have the skills to do them, why are you then going to the UK? If you already know what you carry out, the methods and everything,
sorry,
going to study.
Can't hear you. Still the same thing. Okay. Basically, what I will tell you is that here they talk about outline, basically, right? And you have about, I think, 125 words. You can't use that to write a research proposal. It's not a PhD program you're applying for. You're not going to do any research. You are not doing any research for thought masters. You are just going to write a thesis, right? So basically, it's an outline that you need. If you know the method you want to use, fine, you can outline it. You can give a brief discussion about it, but that's not necessary. Okay, so just give a brief overview of what you think to do. You can get there and it will change at the end of the day. I never knew when I was doing my program, assuming I was asked this question back then, I know what I've written will have been totally different from what I did at the end of the day. Because I was thinking I was going to go into construction, but at the end of the day, I ended up in transportation. Your interest can change along the line, but if you have an idea, just give them that idea. But if you are well detailed, you understand what you want to do, you know, maybe you have proposal for your PhD or something, you don't have to put a lot of that because the number of words is not even enough to write a proposal. So just an outline, basically.
Sunday, just to add, sorry if we're dragging this, but it might help. So like I said, when I applied for my shared scholarship, that was not there, myself and Sunday. But when I applied for my PhD in 2019 or 2018 or thereabout, this question was there. And I already had a research proposal. So it was just me also including some of those little, trying to simplify, even writing some of the methods I'm going to use, but then simplifying it. So some people would have told you, like you said, alternative experience of saying you have to write methods and all of that. For people to have said that, maybe you would have worked, so it's also a safe path you can take depending on what you're, but whatever you're writing, it needs to remember the question states clearly that it needs to be simplified for an audience that is not even in your field. So, and that's why just writing a simple outline, it's the safest way to go, because if you want to go deep down into writing maybe the methods and you're into a very clinical field or a very some jargons in your own field that will be hard for somebody to understand. So those two ways will work as long as you are able to make it as simple as possible. But again, at master's level, many people that I've come across do not already have a form plan, but just writing something. And that's why I propose the idea of you can just write a topic, in line with the arguments you made in all of your essays, just to show that you've thought critically about that. Critical thinking is a huge skill at graduate level. So they might expect to be seeing some of that from your essays. Thank you.
And as Austin was trying to say before his mic or something, you are coming into the UK. They expect that you are coming to gain skills. You are coming to gain these things. So you may not have everything. That's why they said outline. And it's even short, 125 words, because they just want to pick out, what are the key things in your program that makes it look exciting, that you want to come over here to come and study. So just pick those things, pick a topic that you think you are interested in that tallies with your developmental goal, and tell them that this is what it is and this is how it will help. And that's just it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Okay, basically, let's look at this, the career plan thing. 5-year career plan, long-term career plan. Then after this, we'll look at the personal statement, and that will be it. 5-year career plan. Studying health issues. Okay, anyone want to make contribution? Go first on that, because I'm seeing something here. I will collaborate with government to sponsor and offer grant for research. Purposes.
Yeah, just to start with, after my MSc program, the vast knowledge, skills, and experiences I would have garnered will help me embark on various researches that will be rooted in stem cell, blah, blah, blah. Going back to the last statement I made, remember whoever is reading this, your essay might not even be in your field. You've mentioned knowledge, skills, and experience. Please mention some of those skills. What are those skills? Will you have developed some skills in, some research skills? Definitely, you would have picked that up. What are those specific? You can mention 1, 2, 3 so that the reader will simply connect some of these claims you are making, because as far as the reader is concerned, these might just be claims if they cannot be tied with the skills you said you will learn. So again, do not allow the reader to assume. Mention some of those skills that you would have mentioned so that when the person has read this, okay, this skill is there, you are not making a claim, you do some research in stem cells, then the person can clearly make those connections to say, okay, yes, this is feasible because of skill A, skill B, and skill C. The last bit about collaborating with government to sponsor and offer grants for research, I think that seems a bit ambitious. I might be wrong, but please note that whatever we're saying, these are subjective opinions completely. So collaborating with government, that is possible, but it might be helpful to let the reader know or the assessor know in what capacity would you have maybe within the 5 years have taken up some roles or projecting or envisaging that you take up some roles or some management roles in certain areas, or maybe you'll be going back to an organization you've been working with and maybe go through the ranks or some sort, and probably in those capacities able to, within your organization or maybe the body you're working with, be able to now collaborate with government. I'm not saying it's impossible to collaborate with government as an individual, but then at this level, it seems a bit, the way it is captured seems a bit too ambitious. So in what capacity? It might be helpful to also throw that in. It might help in making your argument clearer. Thanks.
Yeah, I think I also want to make a point on that.
Go on.
Yes, this person intends to take a PhD. I feel the PhD should come up not like as a long-term career plan. So that will put to them that, oh, it's like this person is really interested in what he or she is involved in, something like that. So that's my own suggestion, actually. So like, okay, after my MSc, I would like to go for my PhD program. And I think in 5 years' time, I should have achieved this, I should have achieved that, something like that. So these grants of a thing can be a long-term something. So yeah, that's what I feel about this. And I also want to make like a general point. These people are trying to look at your consistency here. So you have to be consistent in whatever you are doing. If you are talking about research, if you are talking about you going for that to do research or maybe developing a career in academia or something, I think you should just be consistent with it. So that will make them, because most of the answers to some of these questions are kind of the same. So, and they are just testing your consistency, something like that. So you just have to prove to them that, yes, you know what you want, you know what you are doing, and you are really going for it. So that's just it.
Yeah,
can I check
thanks.
in something too? Oh, okay. I think Aaron wants to say something.
No, please go ahead first. Go ahead first.
Okay, so I think you can actually go a bit further when it comes to your 5-year plan. I think, for example, if you want to, maybe you have any plan to join a particular organization, you could state something like, oh, even while you are studying in the UK, you would maybe start communicating with some people in the organization, showing your interest in joining them, and you can go further by maybe going to their website, or maybe there's a particular project they are going through that, okay, you're showing your interest that you want to join this project, telling them about what you're studying and the area you're interested in and all of that. I think that also kind of shows that you're ready for work, and I mean you're being realistic with what you're studying and what you want to do in the nearest future.
Thank you very much for that contributions. And basically, you guys have said everything about this. Consistency is very important. If you're leaning towards the academia, going for a PhD, then you should your essay, your plans should be consistent in that direction. So after your PhD, or you first want to work in the industry, get some experience before you go for your PhD. Then your short-term plan can be getting experience first. Then after that, understanding the problem in the industry. Then you want to find a solution through research. So that can also be a plan. So there's no one way to go about it. It all depends on what you want to do, and your ability to communicate it is what really matters properly. So yeah, make sure you understand your short-term goals and understand the difference with your long-term goal and be able to separate
Sunday.
connect
Yeah,
it.
Sunday, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Messi, if this relates to what Messi, was it Messi who spoke last? But please, if it does, forgive me, because I'm not sure I was paying complete attention. Apologies. But
okay.
About the PhD you're talking about, again, remember that these people want to see that you are critically thinking, you've done your research, you're still doing research, you are thinking very strategically about what you are going to do, what you're also going to achieve. I also think that writing, I intend to pursue my PhD and various fellowship program is a bit too broad. Try to narrow it and make it a bit more specific. Just it could be a PhD in epidemiology or a PhD, because the person have made arguments around stem cells therapy and all of that. If you do a bit more reading, you might have some information on what is in vogue in terms of, the areas of stem cells that, they are researching for PhD or fellowships. Try to make it a bit more specific. And remember at the time I made a case about doing a PhD in epidemiology or something because of my focus on HIV. So if you can narrow it a bit more specific, no one expects you to know exactly what it is, but they just want to see that at least you are thinking in that line. So just writing a PhD with various fellowship. What are those various fellowship programs that you are targeting? Have you seen some? Please write them there. It also helps to show that you have thought very, very well about what you want to do in the next couple of years. Thanks.
Yes, that's very important. And even if you are not sure what you want to do, but for the fact that you're writing this essay, sound as if you are very sure. So use active words, tenses, don't sound passive, like, okay, I intend, I know those type of, like, be direct as much as possible. Show them that you are confident in your plans, you know what, you have it figured out, even if you don't. But that's what makes them, gives them, okay, this person is actually knows what he wants. So the last week we are running out of time, basically. I know it's going to happen, but on the personal statement essay, we might not be able to read through all this, but we'll make a general contribution. I will allow the scholars one after the other, anyone that wants to share more insights on how to go about this essay. Please, that's what we're going to take. We're not going to read through this because this is personal, so we might not be able to make any contribution much on this. Is more of a personal, your experience, your background, everything about you, it's personal, it's not generic. So I will stop sharing the screen at this point. I will allow the scholars to share their experience based on how they go about their own personal statement. What do you think should be written? What should you focus on more when writing your personal statement essay? So I will go with Aaron, basically. Let me start with Aaron on that.
Okay, thank you, Sandy. For me, the safest strategy I've always used in writing personal statement, SOPs, motivation letters, or whatever name that document is given, is to always sell the story. And for me, a story always works. Some people decide to use data by citing statistics and references about the problem that they think it's in their field or what they want to tackle. And so for me, it's about, for instance, the first bit is what that problem is, and you can explain that by way of a story or statistics or whatever it is you want to use. But stories usually do the trick for me, but not everybody has story. You can use statistics like we saw with the guy, the other person who did with the slums essay, the former engineering essay we looked at. So that works. And then show your skills. Very importantly, you've mentioned the problem, bring in your background as to, why, what academic background you have, what professional background you have, what achievements you have. Very important. It is your opportunity to use this essay to sell your story. I mean, you are literally blowing your trumpet in this essay. And so start with the story maybe, or statistics of the problem, bring in your academic, your professional experience, bring in your achievements. Statewide, it's important for you to study that course or where you want to study. Do your research to find out for the institution you want to study those courses. What is there in that institution? Could it be the academics? Could it be the ranking? Could it be some stellar research that's been done within the institution that would give you that platform to study in that institution? And please remember that you would have made arguments about particular problems linked to your CSE themes in the previous essays you've written. Ensure that you are telling the same story if you're writing the personal statements. So for me, that might just be, my tip here. Thanks.
Okay, I will make it clear that the personal statement differs across different applications. And for Commonwealth, they always, pull out what they want you to write about. I usually say, if I can't find the question, but you all know the question, and it's how does your background, motivate you to get in, furthering your education, your limitation you had, how do you overcome those limitations to higher education? This is what your personal statement is all about. I usually call it motivation letter. I think it was motivation letter before they changed the name to personal statement. But so when you're writing that, you are talking about your background, all right? Leverage on your background. I remember when I will share my experience, then I will allow other scholars to share their experience and provide insight on that. When I was writing mine, I used my background where I grew up. I grew up in a community where education, wasn't a big, it's not something that is people appreciate there. People don't go to school much there. Like once you finish secondary school, just go and learn a trade. Even my dad has to, said I have to learn a trade. I'm not going to further my education. So I leverage on all that. How did I convince him to sponsor my education? What did I do? I have to obey him, of course, start a business. I was doing a business. But when I wrote my WAEC, JAM, I passed everything, applied for admission, I got admission. People were like, oh, he had no choice than to sponsor this guy. And people have actually advised him that this guy is brilliant. You have to he's interested in studying, and that encouraged him to sponsor my education. I leveraged on that. I made, I used those information, the background, my dad, my relationship with my dad, how I was able to convince him, and everything, and how that motivated me to pursue education and what I want to achieve by furthering education. I want to make sure that more people have access to education. So this is what this personal statement is all about. Leveraging your background and your experience, your unique experience, and writing something that will draw, emotionally the attention of the reviewers. So this essay can pull the trick for you. Every other essay might not, but when you play with the emotions of those people who are reviewing your essay, they might say, oh, this person, no, he has a very humble background. These are the kind of people that understand the challenges local community are facing. And if he have this opportunity, he will be able to make impact in that regard. So that's my summary of how to go about this. So I will allow other scholars, anyone, I won't call any name, but anyone that wants to make contribution to this, please go on.
Okay, Sunday, I'd like to say something.
Go on, please.
Okay, so I agree with you on the personal statements. For me, I did a lot of writing about my background, where I came from, and the things that have happened to me, notable things that happened to me when I was younger, and how I was able to, overcome some few challenges that I feel like there are things that could maybe prevent me from going further in my career and all of that. So it's important you put in all of those things. I mean, you've written a lot of essays about.
Sorry, please, I can't hear Join. I don't know
Hello?
if it's just me, please.
Hello?
I think it's just you because I can hear him very clearly.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
It's a bit better than it was, but I'm almost
Okay.
crawling into my laptop.
Okay, I'll try to be as audible as I can. Okay, so for the personal statement, I'm saying that your background, I feel like you need to like really write things about your background, the challenges you faced. Maybe there's, I mean, I'm not saying that you must have faced challenges or anything, but then anything that notable, any notable thing that maybe has kind of affected you. And also, I think it's also important to write how you overcame that particular challenge or whatever. Yeah, something like that. I think it's a way of making these people know that, oh, you can thrive in any kind of environment, any kind of, no matter how what comes at you, you can always pull through and everything. So you should put in that these people are human beings. It's not complete that I'll read your essays. So they are human beings. You need to like try to kind of make them empathize in a way with you, to put them in your shoes in a way. So that I think if you can get to that point where you write and then they are able to put themselves in your shoes, then I think you've won them in a way, maybe 70% or maybe less or more. So I think it's important to do all of that, put all of this information, stating maybe one or two challenges you faced, how you were able to overcome them. It's okay to say you have some limitations. It's okay to say that. I remember I stated something like that, something that I kind of affected me when I was during my undergraduate. I stated something about not being let me just push that aside. Okay, so I stated some personal things that stated that I was kind of challenged in some areas, some limitations that I faced, and then some of them that I'd already overcome. And I also stated that I'm working on some things also, to overcome them. So it's safe to say all these things. I think it's just make them understand that you are human as well, and then you're working on yourself. I think the whole point is for them to know that you are continuously working on yourself. You're not just stuck in one place. You're not you're working on yourself basically. So I think that's what's important, and how that has, all of these things have actually helped you to like has driven you to make the choice to do more, to want to study more, to even go into the program that you really want to go into. So that's my contribution.
Okay, any other scholar, one or two more, we round it up on this. Okay, in terms, and also when writing it, avoid pity, like don't sound like, oh, if I didn't win the scholarship, I'm not gonna do this, I need this scholarship. No, don't sound as if you are begging for it. Just provide evidence, like supportive evidence, like that's tangible evidence that show that you deserve to be given this scholarship, but don't write it literally that, oh, this scholarship is the only way I can't afford to further my education. Don't write those things. They already know that. They already stated in the requirement that it should be someone that can't afford to further your education in the UK without a scholarship. So don't repeat it, but just provide evidence that shows that you deserve to win the scholarship, basically. So, and also when writing your development imperatives, remember the 6 themes on the CSC program is related to the SDG goals. So your essay, your development plans must also tie to the SDG goals. That's the sustainable development goals. So if you are talking about any field, whether medicine, health, construction, whatever field you are writing on, it should always tie to the SDG goal. And also remember, even though most of us here, or all of us here, we are on the STEM related side, there are tons of programs, non-STEM program, entrepreneurship programs, a lot of other programs that are offered by the Commonwealth Share Scholarship Body. And you can also apply to that, even if you are not in the STEM field. So don't feel like, oh, this scholarship is not for you. Go to the website, check it out. You have programs that you can apply to there. So basically, we won't be going more further on this. There's another essay which is on your volunteering experience. Of course, we've talked about that. We've highlighted along the line that's what to do about how to write your volunteering experience. Ensure you highlight every volunteering you have done, whether it's just for an hour in a day, whether it's just for 30 minutes, as far as it makes an impact, highlight it in your essay, talk about it, discuss it, give them what you achieved, the impact you made using that platform. So before we close, I appreciate everyone, but I want our scholars maybe in 31 minutes to just their final statement, maybe encouragement, tips.
Can I ask a question, please? Can I ask a question, please?
You have a question? Okay,
Yes, please.
I will take two questions if there is any two questions. Go on.
Yes, sir. I have a question. Good afternoon. Thank you for the insightful lecture about this. Really appreciate it. Thank you, sir. My first question is this. For assumption, during the course of writing my essay, how I intend to apply my new skills and qualification when I return home, I made them realize I will collaborate with one institute of medical research to organize a training to train researchers or healthcare providers in such a way that they can be able to formulate a new drug policy for cancer treatment. But another concern of mine is, in my middle term, I have been awarded I teach in my university as a graduate teaching assistant. So I'm thinking, I don't know how to put the two into my essay that, okay, if I do this, I will still venture into academia. I don't know if I should just toe the part of the academia or I should toe the part of the research institute so that at least my essay will be coherent and I won't be diverting from one place to the other. That's my question. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, your question is quite clear. In my own opinion, you're not diverging, because being in academia doesn't mean you don't have to make impact in the society. Academia is not separated from the society in terms of the research institute you are talking about. You can be in academia while you're also working as collaborating with organizations to train people on how to do better research or something. Because most of the time, like here at University of Alabama, I'm a graduate research assistant with the Alabama Transportation Institute, right? That is an institute on its own, but almost every faculty, every staff there, they are all professors working with the teaching in the school. So they are all linked together, okay? So you just have to find a way to link it. You are not diverging, in my own opinion. I don't know if anyone else have a contact.
Please, I have a question. All right, thank you so much. Please from the scholar who applied to University of.
I don't want, if you have a question, you have to ask, don't just.
Please, I have a question, please, very important. Can I ask?
Hello, just, I want us to be coordinated here, please. I will take one more question.
Hello.
I will take one more question, and I'm taking that from someone that has a name, not Techno Spark or something like that.
Please, I have a question. My name is Adefisayo.
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Go on with your question.
All right, please, in applying to these universities, how would they know that I'm actually applying for a Commonwealth scholarship? Because I think Royal Agricultural University, when I applied, they told me to submit a document requesting a letter from my funding source. But I didn't see any provision where you can state that, okay, you're applying to the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship. So in this aspect, how do I do with it?
Basti, can you answer that?
Okay, well, in terms of like scholarship and funding source, most times it might be written there,
I think I
but
can
you might
ask.
not have seen it.
Go on, Basti.
Secondly, hello?
Go on, Basti.
Okay. I said sometimes you might have been written there somewhere, but you might have not seen it. And sometimes they expect that you already have a funding source before applying for a scholarship, maybe your parents or whoever is funding you. So for you applying for the Commonwealth Scholarship, the best thing to do is to email them. That's the basic thing. To tell them that you're applying for the Commonwealth Scholarship. This is your reference number for the Commonwealth Scholarship that you're applying for. Because obviously there'll be a reference number when you started your Commonwealth application. So you tell them that you're applying for the Commonwealth Scholarship. This is my reference number. There's no place to like export or a document and put there that this is the funding source because I've not gotten the scholarship. You explain your situation and they sort it out. Thank you.
Okay, that's very good. When it comes to also finally, let me just add, when it comes to that, I didn't see where they will ask you to upload a document. When I was applying, there wasn't any place for me to. Once I stayed at scholarship body, they might ask me what type of scholarship body. I'll just state it there and that's it. So, but if they ask you to upload a document in your case, just mail the school and explain their situation. They will tell you what to do as Percy have already stated. So just a quick one. I will take one more question. I know I didn't want to take it, but let me just do that. And that would be from, I don't know the name, and that is
Please, I have a question.
7. Technospark 7. What's your name? I couldn't have, I don't want to take question from, but I'll give you that floor because I don't know. Your name is not Technospark 7 anyway. So, but go on with your question. Technospark 7. Go on with your question.
Can you hear me, please? Can you hear me?
Go on. Yes, we can hear you.
I want to ask about the career plan, the 5-year career plan. Does it include the immediate when I come back from the?
Okay, I can't hear you again. I think you are muted. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Okay.
Yes, I said
15 seconds.
Okay. Does the 5-year career plan also include the immediate plan after returning from the UK, or is it a separate one entirely?
It's part of it, basically.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, finally, I'll give room for my fellow scholars here too. Final word, 1 minute at least. I'll start with Dhoni. Just go on.
Well, I'm so happy to have joined this today, to be part of it and to contribute in some way. I hope a couple of us must have gained something out of what everybody has said. I'll just kind of advise everyone to just put in your best, put in all your possible best. I remember during my time, this whole application actually kind of affected my work. I was working at the time, and in a way, it affected my work because it was like a full-time job for me. I mean, that was what it took. So I would advise everybody to try to put in their very best into it and hope for the best. Most importantly, I think the whole experience also would help you in some way. Someone stated something about how the application would definitely help you to even kind of be more focused on the things you want to do academically. So you might not even really know much about what you want to do. You might not really have a focus, but writing these essays and the whole experience can actually help you, to do, to be more focused and to know the exact areas that you want to do. So I would say that you should put in your best and also enjoy the whole process. And I wish you the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dhoni. Basi, your final statement. Thank you.
Okay, for me, should I say it's not my final word in Jesus' name?
Village people. Go on. It's okay. I understand.
So the thing I want to say is you cannot undermine the importance of using your phone and your search engine, Google. In the name of God, I'm begging everybody. There are some questions you do not even need to ask someone. It's just on the website or even on somebody's page that you are following. So the best thing, just reach out on Google. And like how I even knew Sunday's platform, I just searched on Google, Commonwealth alumni. I didn't even go on LinkedIn. And I saw Sunday's profile from Google. From Google, I clicked it and it took me to LinkedIn. I connected with Sunday and I saw the things he had posted before I even started messaging him. So that's how you can use your search engine to benefit yourself, not just only for your normal social media or day-to-day lives. Use your search engine for your scholarship applications and it will be worth it for you in the end. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Basi, for that. Basi to Messi, so that line. Mercy, go on.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Yeah, I appreciate the fact that I'm, speaking with other people on this. So I just want to advise people that want to apply for the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship or maybe any other scholarship that they should be intentional about what they are doing. Don't just say, oh, I just want to submit any application, whatever it is, fine, it's good. So just be intentional about it. Then, just hope for the best. Don't reject yourself. So just try as much as possible to also follow due process, follow guidelines. If it's to get information online, do that. If it's to connect with other people that have the information, do that. So we need information. So you don't need to, you should not isolate yourself from people that have it. So you have to reach out to people and also be intentional about whatever application you are doing. Put in your very best, and I believe it's going to come through for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mercy. Aaron, please.
Okay, thank you, Sandy, for the privilege of being here and having to share these insights with scholars today. My first tip would be please apply to a lot of schools if you can on the shared scholarship. It gives you that opportunity of being selected or being nominated by other schools. So please, as much as you can, if you can, your courses are there, please apply to a lot of schools. It increases your chances. Please also network with people. I mean, the scholarship journey is can be very tasking and very demoralizing sometimes. So if you can, connect with people who are around you, could be friends who also share the ideas of applying for scholarships. Having those kind of people around you will keep pushing you. And then sometimes it will brace you up even if you get some rejections at some point. The rejections might come for some people. Some people might get it now, some people might not get it now, but please just keep applying, because this scholarship, like we always say, is sweet die. So I mean, it's too beautiful. So just keep applying until it comes your way. I know that some people want to connect after now, especially in terms of essay reviews and all of that. Please also use the people around you. Could be your friends that will also help you look at your essay. It mustn't be people who have gotten these scholarships, that will be able to provide insights. And I apologize from now for people who might reach out to me later or who might connect later on different platforms. That sometimes it takes me a while before I even reply DMs, not because I don't want to, but because, we also have deadlines as students. So apologies in advance for people who will get in touch after now, but I'll always get back to you if that is the case. But please use people around you. It mustn't be scholars that will review your essays, for people who want to reach out for reviews. And I wish you the best, and I look forward to people who will be on this side of the table next year to share some of these insights as scholars, because I'm 100% among the 70 or 60 people plus that have joined this. There'll be people who will get this scholarship this year, and we'll look forward to celebrating you guys. Good luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Aaron. I appreciate that. I don't know if Augustine is still here with us. I know you're still here with us. So can you just give us your final statement? Okay. Victor is here. All right, guys. I think Victor and Augustine are not on the room. Okay, thank you everyone for joining this call. I appreciate you all, and I believe you've gained one or two things from this. This video will be available. I'll put it up on the YouTube channel. And if you have any question, more clarification, ensure you have done your own search. There are some simple questions you can easily find the answer by Googling. All right. So, and watching videos that has been done before now by other scholars. There are a lot of scholars that share insight on this scholarship. There are a lot of information that's out there for you to explore, for you to leverage on. And I wish you all the best in your applications, and I'm looking forward to hearing the good news from you. Whether you are going to be in a reserve list after people are nominated, like Dhoni that was on reserve list before she was promoted to the nominee, So, but it's going to work out for, if it's not Commonwealth, it will be another one. But definitely you're going to get what your heart desires, okay? It might not come now, but it will surely come. Just stay focused and keep working hard on your goals. I wish you all the best. And from me, I would say, it's a wrap up from me here. And all my scholars that joined this call, I appreciate your time. I know it's a sacrifice from your side and also from me. And everyone that is here to the end, thank you guys for joining, and bye for now.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Sunday.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Thanks, Sunday. Bye, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks a lot. I really appreciate this.
Take care.
I appreciate.
Take care.
Bye,
Bye.
Sunday. Thank you.